You recently started SFA, Search Fund Accelerator in the US. Is that complementary to search funds? Is that a search fund? I'm just trying to understand what you're trying to achieve with this accelerator.
It's complementary. Not everybody's going to be interested in doing Search Fund Accelerator, and there are people who would prefer Search Fund Accelerator over what is now called a traditional search fund. The idea was to bring people together in a cohort to provide them with a huge amount of coaching, mentoring, and guidance through the search acquisition and company management process. And again, it's complementary to existing models, whether it's the search fund model or self-funded search.
And so you have been guiding a lot of buyout entrepreneurs. You did a couple of buyouts yourself. Based on all the experience you have built in the past, what do you consider to be some success factors, for example, in the deal completion process, and what are also pitfalls?
I think there's two clear factors in success for the acquisition. One is doing very thorough and unbiased due diligence. I think one of the big pitfalls is the opposite side of that is confirmation bias. It's not seeing things, not recognizing things, or not even searching for things which could be potentially deadly risks for the business. So I think doing very, very thorough due diligence is hugely important. I think the other pitfall is, or area where you should focus, is the growth potential of the business. What kind of a market is this business in? What is the total addressable market? Is this a business that you can double, or is it a business you can multiply by 5 or more? And I think to be successful with a small business like this and to make it worth your while, you need to have a business where you can see a path to growing it many, many multiples of its current self.
There's only one thing possibly that could be stopping you, and that's you.
So if you're conducting a buyout, so of course, once you have completed the transaction, it's all about then adding value to the business, creating value. Again, based on your experience, you have observed many of these entrepreneurs who did buyouts. What are the key success factors in execution and in realizing the growth potential you have discovered during the due diligence? What do you consider some key success factors there?
I would say first, taking the time to get to know the business and to get to know the people in the business. I think there is a period of apprenticeship, if you will, where the new CEO gets to understand the real inner workings of the business and the market in which it's situated. Then I think it's important to focus on the organization. I mentioned that before, many of these organizations are flat. It's important to have a good CFO, a controller, whatever you want to call it, who can take care of the financial side of the business. It's very important to make sure that there's somebody who can run the operations. What I see in many of these businesses is where a new CEO comes in and they get sucked into the day-to-day of the business, and they end up being what I call shopkeepers. Rather than being a full-fledged CEO, they're dealing with, well, is this crew at the right place at the right time, or they have these parts, whatever. So getting somebody who can handle the day-to-day operations is very, very important. And then the third leg is building sales, because growth means having a sales organization, structure, process, pricing. And so building those sort of that three-legged stool is important for success.
Which are similar to if you scale a startup business to some extent.
Yeah.
Yeah, it's about the processes.
Here you have, and you've verified it through due diligence, you have the product market fit, you have clients, you have cash flow, you have, you're buying an ongoing business.